The issue that I have been focusing on in the past weeks is anti-Israel propaganda in the news. During my research, I have been working close with an organization that has helped me a lot. This organization is called the Jewish Community Relations Council. To explain to you what the Jewish Community Relations Council does, I will play a clip from my interview with Jacob Milner. Okay, so can you give me a 1-minute summary on what JCRC does?
Is it okay, to go pick up from this bar?
Probably.
Okay.
Maybe if you sit. Yeah.
So the JCRC is the public affairs voice of the Jewish community here in Minnesota and North and South Dakota. The JCRC works to fight anti-Semitism in the community. It works to advocate for Israel. It works to advance Holocaust education throughout the state and the Dakotas. And it works also with a program called Justice Squared to alleviate poverty and to enhance interfaith connections, especially right now with the new American communities like the Somalis.
And even though the Jewish Community Relation Council does all these things, I will be focusing on how they combat anti-Israel propaganda in the news and what their Israel education program does. Fighting anti-Israel propaganda in the news is a big part of what the Jewish Community Relation Council does. Jacob Milner runs up this part of the organization. Again, I would like to share a clip for you from my interview with Jacob Milner about what he does and how the Jewish Community Relation Council combats anti-propaganda in the news. Specifically, what do you do to fight off anti-Semitism, Israel, what do you do for Israel advocacy?
Basically, we're always monitoring. We have close relationships with law enforcement, for example, the local FBI, Homeland Security here in the Twin Cities. So,
Minneapolis Police, too.
Minneapolis Police, St. Louis Park Police, Minnetonka Police, etc. And we're always monitoring local events, monitoring hate groups in the area, then also monitoring publications, so the Star Tribune, different websites for anti-Israel and anti-Semitic things that may pop up.
Let's say Star Tribune or a hate group says something bad about the Jewish people of Israel. Is there really something you can do about it?
Well, we generally then respond with pieces of our own. There was last year, there was a piece that Garrison Keillor wrote about Jews shouldn't be writing Christmas songs. That was big, it was national. And we did our response, we went out to a lot of papers nationally. We got a great response here in the Twin Cities, but that's just one example where someone says something that is offensive to Jews. When JCRC steps in, obviously the JCRC of Minnesota, because Garrison Keillor is based out of St. Paul, we step in and talk about religious freedom and how anybody can write whatever they want. So that's just one example. But yeah, we generally will get published. Even when there's things going on in St. Cloud with anti-Muslim cartoons, that was recently there, we put out a statement supporting the Muslim community's right to practice their religion too.
So, what do you do in your job?
My job is mainly focused on Israel advocacy and monitoring anti-Israel groups in the area, monitoring anti-Israel articles and sentiments and different events that may go on in the community.
And do you write responses?
Yeah, all the time.
So you personally?
Yes.
Okay, and then Israel education is very important. If people were educated, then they would not spread anti-Israel propaganda, nor would they subscribe to anti-Israel propaganda. Steve Lear started the education program. Please listen in on why he did. Okay. And Sally had told me that you started the project, so why did you decide to start the project?
What happened was my daughter and I were supposed to go to Israel for a high school graduation present, and 2 weeks prior to us knowing, the suicide bombing started accelerating, and my wife turned to me and said, "You take my daughter to Israel now, you will come back and not have a wife."
Okay.
So what occurred was um, I was very frustrated by that I could not go, and a lot of my friends were even asking me, "Why are you going in the first place?" So what I did is I was spending a lot of time explaining why I wanted to go,
Right.
and I ended up just putting with Steve Silverfar's help, putting a PowerPoint together and holding little parlor meetings at my office, trying to educate people about the conflict.
So, now that you understand why Steve Lear started the program, please listen to Jenna Mittelman on what the program does. Okay, so can you give me a 1 to 2 minute summary on what you do?
Do you mean me personally or the project as a whole?
Both.
Okay. So what we do is we go out to different community organizations, community groups, and we educate people about the Arab-Israeli conflict. Tell them about the history, about the issues, about the current events, and try to help people get more context around the news that they see every day.
Okay, so you try to make it a two-sided, would you say like a two-sided thing?
Yes, absolutely. We try to give a balanced and even-handed presentation, so we try to incorporate the perspectives of both sides.
Okay, and then, I would like to thank Jacob Milner, Steve Lear, and Jenna Mittelman for taking time out of their day for me to be able to interview them. Thank you, and thank you for listening.